Hey guys, this is Airborne101 again. Apparently I misinterpreted Hunter Seeker 5's message to me about making a video, and he wanted me to demonstrate how to install the Z kit here rather than if you have the regular R-hops. I made a video earlier about how to install the regular R-hops. This install will be a little bit different. I never used this particular install method before. I've never bought a Z kit, so it should be interesting to see how this works out. But I guess we'll go ahead and get started here, show off a couple tools that you're going to need. First tool, you're going to need X-Acto knife, pretty sharp. You're going to have to cut these patches down to the proper size to fit the barrel window. They have 2 strips of sandpaper. This one here is 400 grit and this one's 600 grit. We'll kind of see which one works better here. Hunter Seeker 5 recommends RTV silicone sealant, something like that. Personally, I'm going to use a little bit of super glue, and I'll address this better when I start to install the part. You'll need something to fit in the barrel here. This is going to help pop up the R-hop in there, so when you sand it, you can sand it a little bit better. And then, of course, you need your Z kit right here. And if you can't tell, Z kit varies. You can see the little grooves or channels in here. They get progressively bigger. This is the smallest channel and this is the largest channel. And presumably that is so you can pick the patch that best fits your barrel window. And so I presume that the larger channel is for wider and therefore deeper cut windows, and the smaller channel is if you have a really thin window here. So this window is pretty wide, so I'm going to go ahead and use this really the largest channel here, and we're going to go ahead and cut this to proper size. Make sure you can see this here. Like I said, I've never done this install before, so this should be an interesting process here. See how this works. From what I've heard and seen online, this looks pretty straightforward, pretty simple to do. You know, it's not quite as involved as the old install technique. Not to say that the old install technique was difficult, but I could see how it would present some challenges to new users and installers. So, Hunter Seeker 5 said in his video that you want this patch to fit fairly snugly front to back in here. So, I mean, we got that in, staying in there pretty good. But yeah, we'll go ahead and put a little bit of super glue on the feet right here on the edge of the barrel window. One thing that he stressed in his video, and I will stress in this video, is that you do not want to get any sort of glue, or if you use like RTV sealant or whatever the stuff is, you don't want to get any of that inside the barrel, because that'll mess up your accuracy and whatnot. So we're just going to go ahead and apply a little bit of this super glue here to a toothpick and just smear a little bit on the edges there. Just a very little bit to kind of help it stick. Again, just be careful not to get this inside the barrel. And we'll just go ahead and apply the patch here. And go ahead and just hold that down, let it sit for a couple minutes. The glue dries pretty fast, so we don't have to worry about that. And if you look in the barrel window, you can see that this one protrudes very little. And I'm going to have a hard time showing this on camera. But let's see if I can get that in the light. You can see the patch kind of on the upper left hand corner. Doesn't really protrude that much. So now that the glue is dry, we'll go ahead and put this back in the vise. If you do use a vise, make sure you don't do it too tight. You don't want to pinch your barrel. That'll cause jams. That's bad. So obviously. So we'll go ahead and stick the little install tool that he gave me here. And we'll go ahead and put this in the barrel. And that's going to help kind of provide some back pressure to the R-hop so it doesn't sink down while I'm sanding it. And then we'll go ahead and take this 400 grit sandpaper and we're just going to run it back and forth on here. Oh, I guess I didn't glue it in very well. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, there's the patch stuck in my finger. Alright, let's try this again. Guess we'll hold it here a little bit longer this time. Make sure it sticks in there pretty well. If you have any issues during this install, I encourage you to direct your questions and comments to Hunter Seeker 5. He's a little bit more familiar with this particular install process than I am, but being that it's pretty straightforward, I think I can answer most of the questions, or at least possibly direct you in the right direction to go. So. Yeah, it's feeling pretty secure in there now, so we're just going to go ahead and put the tool back in. And so it's looking to sand it pretty well, so just go ahead and keep doing this back and forth. So we'll go ahead and try this 600 grit, see if it cleans it up just a little bit. Take this out. And you can see the patch is still just a hair popped up. We have to put the, try this with the bucking here. Put the bucking over it. And it actually doesn't look too bad. See if we can see this again. So yeah, I mean that was pretty quick, painless. It's in there pretty secure. I don't know. I don't know if I'd quite test that yet. Maybe sand it down just a little bit more. Using heavier grit. I think this process is a little bit faster than the one I did before. Downside is you chew up your barrel a little bit, but so long as it's damages on the outside, I mean, it doesn't really matter what the outside looks like so long as it's the inside's in good shape. I'll go ahead and clean it off again with the 600. Yeah, that actually looks really nice. Wow. I'll have to go ahead and give this process, install technique a little bit more attention when I do my own personal guns and customers' guns. I mean, it looks really nice on the outside, nice and smooth. Inside, flat and consistent. One thing I did forget to do is radius that trailing edge right here. Basically on the inside you want to radius or just kind of curve off the inside edge right here. That way you don't get any pinch style jams that might suck your bucking out. But go ahead and just drop a BB in right here. Push it through. I mean that moved without any force. So yeah, I'll go ahead and pull the patch off again if we can. Should have probably made it a point to radius that trailing edge before I glued it in. Maybe that's the benefit of using like the RTV sealant or something like that. It's doesn't permanently attach it, although this doesn't come off all that hard. Just clean off right here. And I showed you these tools that I used in my previous install. We'll just go ahead and use this to clean off the patch a tad. And try and radius that edge just a hair. Alright, so it takes a little material off of there, and just go ahead and push it back in. And of course I glue it again. And we'll just go ahead and glue it in again. So yeah, I mean that's pretty straightforward install, pretty painless. You know, I think the hardest part is sanding. If you do the inner channel style and sand the inner channel, that's a little more time consuming. But this is pretty painless, and you know, I go ahead and pop this in my gun right now and give it a test, because you know, it's not sticking that far into my barrel, and like I said, these BBs, they just drop right in, and you just tap it and it goes through. So that's pretty good. I like that. So I guess thumbs up for this process, and maybe I'll look into it a little bit more when I do my own installs. But yeah, hopefully that works for you guys. See ya.